This victory was a collaboration of everyone, the university, with the whiteout. I think we had more fans tonight than we did when we won last week in Florida, last year in Florida. The temperature was definitely that for a football game. And we just appreciate all the support we got tonight, and hopefully we'll get twice as many fans next week against Jackson State.
I guess Dre's performance, Coach. Shocking when you saw him come out and throw 2 touchdown passes on his first 2 attempts?
No, last week was shocking. Last week was shocking. This week wasn't shocking. The game after he played against Alcorn, that game was shocking. The Alcorn game was not, because Dre is talented enough to do that. And now he has receivers that are talented enough, if he can get them the ball, they can make some things happen. So I wasn't surprised. We were going to go in the ball game. We're not going to fool anybody. We're going to try to run the ball just because that's something we got to try to do. But you better know, you better stop the pass. That's the bottom line.
Is this as good as you've ever seen him?
I think the best I've seen him really was the Alcorn game last year. It was phenomenal. But he's going to get better. Now he has a couple of 300-yard passing games on his belt with the receivers that we have. We expect 300 to be the goal every week, to tell you the truth.
One thing that you talked about a lot during the week was eliminating some of the mental mistakes from last week. It seemed like the penalties and the turnovers were kept to a minimum. How would you assess your team from that perspective?
I would say the weather had something to do with it too. This was a beautiful night for football. It was a little more humid last week in Tennessee, and I think had Drake come out and hit that one pass to Jared Green last week, I think it would have been a whole different ball game. I think it could have gone the other way because the defense was already fired up. They came out and they stopped those guys. And I think had Jared caught that ball, I think he would have ran it in for a touchdown. We're up 7, and now the defense is coming back out fired up. And I think the game could have gone the other way. But that's behind us. These guys came out and they practiced extremely hard. They were much better this week in practice than they were last year after the Delaware State game. So we knew there was an opportunity. And how can you not be excited about the Jackson State game as players and as fans as well? I'm sure we'll be watching that game, our game against them last year, and we'll be watching the 2 games that they've played thus far this year.
Coach, what does this win say to the Jaguar Nation?
Well, we're 1-1 right now. We haven't lost a conference game this year. Jackson State is another conference game. We can't go at this particular point in time to the SWAC championship, but we're going to play every team that's going to be in the championship. And we can beat them all. We proved that in week 1 because we beat ourselves against Tennessee State.
Coach, you talked all week about how aggressive this team would be, the offense, and it seemed like your defense is more aggressive tonight.
I mean, that's what they do on the defense. Demetri Rogers, I would have to give him a lot of credit because last year, that young man, he played his own game. And as a result, he had a horrible offseason, really, because he just didn't like the way he played. And these first 2 games, he's come out and he's played fantastic. And he has to continue to play that way in order for us to be as good as we want to be on defense. And Levi, I think that's 2 games back-to-back. He's played well. Jamie Payton played well. We got 2 freshmen from Magnum. Light, guys are light, but they're 6'5". They stayed home, and they didn't go to one of the other schools. They came to Southern. They're playing, and they're producing. And I think that's something great. We got a couple of transfers in here, Jared Green being one, a guy that has his degree, that won a shot in the NFL, and we're going to give him an opportunity to play. This offensively, it's not about anyone other than LaQuentin Evans for the most part. It's about Jared Green for the most part, because those guys are seniors, and we want those guys to have an opportunity for scouts to take a look at them. We get scouts here all the time. There are going to be some guys at D1 schools that want to transfer that may have an opportunity at the next level. I want them to know that they can come here and get an opportunity. Of course, they're going to have to compete with guys that we have here. We're not giving them anything other than an opportunity, and I think Jared Green is going to benefit from that opportunity.
Coach, you're up 2 scores in the fourth quarter. You take out Dre. Was it just a matter of wanting to get JP some playing time?
Absolutely. JP has to be able to manage the football game. And tonight, he didn't manage the football game. It was a situation where lessons have to be learned. And hopefully, a guy can learn a lesson and we can still end up on the positive end. All he had to do was check the ball down to LaQuinton Evans. 2 guys on the deep man. LaQuinton was standing right there. He could catch the ball and he runs it in for a touchdown. Can't force the ball in the red zone.
Coach, might not show up on the stat sheet by the end of the game, but it seemed like your defense effectively bottled up their quarterback Mason pretty well. What was the game plan there, and how would you assess their swarming defense tonight?
Well, we wanted to try to make those guys beat us passing because we knew they wanted to run the ball. Now, they got some third down passes on us that we didn't think they would get, but they did. So we have to play better in the passing game. It was good preparation for what we're going to see this week coming against Jackson State.
I want to ask you about the run defense after last week, giving up 7 yards a carry, whatever, and then really putting a solid effort out there tonight. That's got to encourage everyone.
I think we helped them a little bit offensively. Now, we still didn't control the game, but that's okay. Give me a touchdown, and then we will let them play defense. We wanted to try to control the clock a little more to keep those guys off the field some, to allow them to get a rest. We scored quick, so we didn't do that, but at least we scored some points. But last week, Tennessee State, they were much bigger than our guys. So offensively, we have to try to develop a running game. We're still going to work to develop a running game, but we will not abandon the pass.
To take nothing away from obviously a big win, was it a little bit mildly frustrating or concerning as far as the second half and not going to be able to punch it in?
It was frustrating because we missed 2. We should have had a touchdown right before we went in at half to make it 28, but we ran the route wrong, and then we came back out. The second half we had the ball in pretty good position, and then Dre gets hit. And it's a lateral. I thought we had it set up well. I thought I could see Dallas Ford catching the ball and making something happen, and it just didn't. So even though we're happy because we won, these guys know we have a lot of work to go to be the type of football team we want to be.
Can you talk about Indian wins, your losing streak at home, and building on that win, starting with Jackson State?
Well, it's the second SWAC game we won. Mississippi Valley was the only one last year. You have to be able to defend home, and we did that. It's going to be exciting. This year it was a 1-game losing streak for this team. For me, it was 7 or 8, whatever the case may be. I know it was too long, but it's an end, and now hopefully we can continue a winning streak and get the people back. And it's our responsibility as a football team to create a great morale around here, to create a university that people want to come to. And if you can win football games, you can get that done, because it's a lovely opportunity. Young men are seeing that they're getting an opportunity to play regardless of if they're walk-ons or freshmen on scholarship. It doesn't matter. We give them an opportunity.
Jackson State quarterback, high profile in the SWAC. Your thoughts on that?
I think I got a quarterback that can play too. So I think Jackson State quarterback got away with some mistakes last year, to be perfectly honest. Now he's a good quarterback, stats and everything prove that, but we're gonna be ready this year. I think we'll be ready, and we just got to perform offensively this year like we performed last year. That game is over. It was last year. It'll be a different